Alright guys, so it is not that unusual in life to make mistakes. It's completely normal and it's just part of life. The only problem arises when you can't own up to those mistakes. So behind me here is my little compost bin, which is the mistake. So there are a few things. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a 21-day I'm attempting a 21-day compost, and I've made various mistakes. One, anybody who knows anything about compost knows that the size of that bin that I have back there is not enough. It's a decent size, but it does not get you to the 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot or cubic yard or cubic meter measurement that you need, and that cubic meter needs to, or cubic yard or cubic meter also needs to be about a yard or a meter tall, which is 3 feet tall. So it's actually, you need quite a large compost pile when you think about it being 3 by 3 by 3, and then also 3 tall, or a yard or a meter tall or whatever. The other thing is that last week I put out a video where I did the first turning, and I just kind of dumped it over, and then I got it back into its bin, and that didn't get much air into it. And another thing that it did is what you need to do is you need to make, you don't just simply need to flip it, which is what I did. I just simply flipped it. The other thing that you need to do is you need to make the outside become the inside, the top become the bottom. Everything needs to get flipped, and in the process of doing that, it needs to get a lot of air. So what I have to do today is I have to do the actual work of making the outside become the inside become the outside, the top become the bottom, everything. It all needs to turn in like every way and really get air in there. But despite that, I have noticed that there is a breakdown going on. There is heat in there, even though it's supposed to be too small. And so it's I'm going to finish the whole thing just to see what happens, because you're not supposed to be able to do compost with a pile that's not big enough. Yet I've definitely noticed that there is something going on, and there is heat in there. And so and the other thing is, when I'm closer to it, I'll go over about hydrating your compost. But your compost is a living, breathing thing that and if you mess up how you're supposed to do it, you fail to give it life. And if you get it right, you give it life, and you essentially, by creating the right conditions, can thereby create life. And it will tell you that you've done that by heating up and changing in color, and it'll give you clues that you probably won't mistake. So let's move a little bit closer and get a little bit more in depth on this. Yeah, there's definitely some heat down here. Like, yeah, there's heat. It doesn't just, when compost heap is this size, it doesn't just altogether fail to work. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to make the outside, the inside, the inside, the outside, the top, the bottom, and do all that kind of stuff. Okay, so one more thing that's going on here is when I squeeze this really, really hard, I don't know if I can get a drop of water out of it. No, I can't. It's a little bit too dry, and that's another mistake that I've made. Let's have a smell here. Smells all right, actually. I kind of like the smell. It's good. It's got a kind of a good sweet smell. It does not smell all anaerobic or anything. Yeah, it's smelling good. You can do compost at this size, but I'm still gonna end up scaling it up and make it the right size. Okay, so by doing it that way, I get some good air in there, and there's one more thing I'm gonna do. All right, so I've got some coffee grounds here, and coffee grounds give you a nice source of nitrogen when you kind of feel coffee grounds, even though they're dark, they're considered a green because they're a good source of nitrogen. So if you feel like you want to try to get your compost pile heated back up a little bit, if you want to re-inject some heat into it, you can use coffee grounds. Not a bad option. So as I'm putting this back in here, I'm going to spread some coffee grounds around and get a bit of water in. So I see a bit like this, which has like a very obvious dried browns, and I want to get this into the middle, the bottom to the middle, where it can heat up and break down. All right, so there it is, all finished up, compost done, and I'll be back to that in a week. I'll just show you a couple of things going on here and talk a little bit more about the compost situation. The first time I showed the potato plant here, I think these leaves, this growth was like just down here. Now it's all the way up here and it's coming through here. It's going along really well, getting really fast. I also made a video with my tomatoes about getting rid of leaf miners, and I don't think I have any more leaf miners. Disposing of the problem leaves seemed to take care of it, and just look at how well they're growing now. If you come down here, oh, actually I have some leaf miners right there. I'll get rid of those in a second. But if you come down here, just look at how nice that growth is. They're just getting really big. They're just shooting right up. So let's take a second. I'll come over here. Let's take a second to talk about the compost situation. So with the compost, the one that I'm doing right now is a 21 day, and I don't think I'm going to do it again. I don't think that it quite works, maybe in this environment, or maybe it's this time of year or what have you. The one that I'm going to do next time, I think, is I'm going to upscale the pile to the proper size, because there's a vegetable shop close by that has just bins full of discarded nice green vegetables that they couldn't sell or whatever. And so I'm going to see if I can get vegetables from them, which will help me up the size to what I need it to be. And then I'm going to go for an 18-day Berkeley style compost, which is where you let it go for, you set it up properly, the greens and the browns and all that. And then you let it go for 4 days. And you cover it, you keep it covered with a tarp whenever you're not turning it. And then after the initial 4 days, you begin to turn it every 2 days. And you're supposed to have fairly viable compost, at least to serve well as a topsoil after 18 days. And if you let it go on a little bit longer, you can have, it would finally yield compost good enough to, to go into a pot and do like my potatoes. But I think that takes a little bit more time, but you've got, after like 18 days, you definitely got a perfectly good topsoil and stuff like that. So take a quick look around here at a couple other things. Still got things coming up over here. They're not coming up like the potatoes do, but they're, things are still coming up nicely over here. There's the lettuce and a couple things in there, doing their thing. And yeah, that's about it. Base gardening. Thanks.